Now the title of today's story is called The Invisible Thread. Have you ever heard of such a title? Let me know if you have come across such a concept of an invisible thread. Share your thoughts in the comments section below. We pick up today's story from a city which was like a beehive of activity. Traffic horns blared, cars zoomed past, and neon lights flickered incessantly. People rushed about their business, talking into their phones. It was a city that never slept. The city bustled with people, but how many of them were connected to one another? People knew so many people through social media, hundreds of contacts saved on their phones, but very few real friends. In the heart of this bustling city lived a man named Arjun. He was a software engineer working in a well-known company. He had everything that most people would envy: a decent job, a roof over his head, and enough money to get by. Yet, despite being surrounded by people, Arjun was often overwhelmed by a strange hollowness. Life had become a routine. Wake up, get ready, go to work, return home, eat, sleep, and repeat. Weekends were spent catching up on pending work and socializing with colleagues. His parents were busy with their own lives, and his only sibling lived abroad. On special occasions, his relatives paid him visits, and they left soon afterwards. One Saturday evening, as Arjun was returning home from a friend's birthday party, he realized he was extremely upset. Not because he had a fight with his best friend, or something bad happened, but because no one had asked him how he was feeling. He felt like a number in a crowd, a face that people recognized, but didn't know. This feeling of being unseen and unheard gnawed at him. He longed for someone to talk to, someone who would listen without judgment. Arjun decided to visit his favorite neighborhood cafe. It was a small place with worn-out furniture and books scattered around. It had always been his sanctuary. The owner, Mrs. Johnson, was a cheerful woman with a listening ear and a warm smile. Even though they didn't talk much, Arjun always felt better after visiting her. Tonight, however, the cafe was unusually empty. He ordered a cup of tea and sat alone by the window watching the city lights twinkle to life. As the evening wore on, the weight of his loneliness pressed down on him. Unable to bear it any more, he picked up his phone and called his sister. After exchanging pleasantries, he hesitated and then asked, "How do you think I'm doing?" His sister, always the pragmatic one, replied, "You're doing great, Arjun. Just keep working hard." She didn't ask him about his day, his feelings, or what was going on in his life. And Arjun understood she wasn't trying to be hurtful. She simply didn't know how. And with that, the call ended. As Arjun hung up the phone, tears welled up in his eyes. It wasn't just about his conversation with his sister. It was about the countless times he had reached out to people, only to receive similar responses. He wiped away his tears and left the cafe, the hollowness within him growing deeper. Suddenly, he spotted a small library tucked away on a quiet street. The sight of the dimly lit lamp above the door beckoned him closer. Hesitantly, he pushed the door open and stepped inside. It was a cozy place, filled with thousands of books. The soft scent of aging paper and leather filled the air, bringing a sense of calm. Sunlight streamed through the large windows, illuminating dust particles dancing in the air. Arjun walked between the shelves, his fingers trailing along the spines of the books. Each book was like a portal to another world, holding stories that had touched countless readers before him. He felt a sense of connection to those who had come before him, sharing the same space and finding solace in the written word. As he turned a corner, he saw an elderly woman sitting at a table by the window. She was absorbed in a book, her brow furrowed in concentration. Her silvery hair was pulled back in a neat bun, revealing a face etched with the passage of time. He noticed the faint lines around her eyes, a testament to countless smiles, and perhaps a few tears shed silently. He also noticed the gentle rise and fall of her chest, indicating a deep breath. Their eyes met, and she looked up from her book with a warm smile. Her eyes, though lined with age, twinkled with kindness. It was a smile that reached her eyes, crinkling them at the corners and making her face break into a myriad of lines. He couldn't help but smile back. It was the first genuine smile he had offered in what felt like forever. Clearing his throat, he said, "I'm sorry to disturb you, but I couldn't help but notice your collection of books. You must be an avid reader." The woman looked up, her eyes twinkling with amusement. "Indeed I am," she said, her voice like the gentle rustling of old pages. "A good book is like a friend, isn't it?" Arjun nodded, his eyes scanning the titles on her table. "Some moments," she continued. "A conversation can be like a chapter in a book. Each word, a page, turning the story forward." Arjun's gaze shifted to the woman, intrigued by her words. He realized that indeed, every conversation had its own story, its own set of characters and plot twists. Some were filled with joy, while others held sadness or anger. And some, like the one he was about to embark on, were simply a blank page waiting to be filled with words. They talked about books, their favorite authors, and the stories that had touched their hearts. Arjun found himself opening up like he hadn't done in months. The woman listened patiently, occasionally offering a thoughtful comment or asking probing questions. He told her about his life, his job, his family, and the nagging loneliness that had become his constant companion. He spoke not just about the surface, but about the depths of his soul where shadows of doubt and longing lingered. As the afternoon deepened, Arjun felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. It wasn't that he had found all the answers during their conversation, but rather that he had been seen, truly seen by another human being. The woman didn't offer empty platitudes or try to fix his problems. She simply listened and acknowledged his feelings. When it was time for Arjun to leave, he stood up, a little hesitant. The thought of leaving this newfound solace, and the woman's gentle presence behind, unsettled him. "Thank you," he said, his voice slightly shaky. "For what?" the woman asked, her eyebrows furrowing in concern. "For listening, for talking to me, for reminding me that I'm not alone." The woman's lips curved into a knowing smile. "We are never truly alone, my dear boy," she said. "We just need to open our eyes and hearts to see that." Arjun nodded, realizing the truth in her words. He had been surrounded by people, but had closed himself off from forming connections. From that day on, Arjun made it a point to visit the library regularly. It became his sanctuary, a place where he could escape the noise of the city and find solace in the quiet company of books and the elderly woman he now considered a friend. Their conversations spanned a variety of topics, from the whimsical adventures of fictional characters to the profound mysteries of the universe. The woman's wisdom, gleaned from a lifetime of experiences, served as a guiding light for Arjun, helping him navigate the complexities of life with more grace. As weeks turned into months, Arjun found himself shedding the layers of loneliness that had encased him. The invisible thread that bound him to the woman in the library became stronger with each passing day. He realized that true connection, like a sturdy thread, could mend the fragmented pieces of one's soul. Arjun understood that true connection, like a sturdy thread, could mend the fragmented pieces of one's soul. However, as the seasons changed and the leaves outside the library windows turned from green to gold, a tinge of melancholy began to creep into Arjun's heart. The woman, his friend, was absent from their usual meeting spot, and a gnawing worry took root within him. He remembered the passage of time, the inevitable march towards the setting sun, and realized that his friend might be nearing the end of her earthly journey. Driven by concern and affection, Arjun decided to pay a visit to her house. He found her frail, yet smiling form, tending to a small garden. The sight brought a wave of emotions to his eyes. With a heavy heart, Arjun visited his friend in the hospital. Despite the sterile environment and the hushed whispers of medical staff, the warmth of their bond remained. They talked about life, love, and loss, and Arjun promised to keep her memory alive, ensuring that the invisible thread that connected them would never truly break. He carried on her legacy by organizing a monthly book club in that very library. People from all walks of life, young and old, came together to share stories, laughter, and sometimes even tears. Arjun's life had come full circle. What had started as a solitary journey to escape the deafening silence of his existence had transformed into a symphony of human connection. The invisible thread that had drawn him to the library had woven itself into the fabric of his being, reminding him that the cure for loneliness was as simple as a shared smile or a heartfelt conversation. So friends, the story ends here. But I want to know from you, what did you think of today's story? How did you feel after listening to it? And most importantly, what is the moral of the story? What lesson do we learn from today's story? Do share your thoughts in the comments section below. And please don't forget to subscribe. If you liked today's story, press the like button and share it with your loved ones. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, and goodbye.